21 Construction Squadron arrived in Sabah in 1965 to build an all-weather road which had already commenced with 17 Construction Squadron from Tenem. We arrived at the Panduan and we were heading to Sepulveda, which is on the Kalimantan border with Indonesia. I've just met up with Tubby on the bridle track, a couple of local Muruts also in the same area, Lieutenant Moran, who visited us for a couple of weeks. The lads are having smoko. This bridle track, it's just too wet and boggy, and so therefore the construction squadron needed to find a road either over the mountains or a side cut into the mountains, and to construct a road which could carry heavy equipment. The group that are walking along the bridle track, they're heading out from the squadron camp for about 10 kilometres, where they're chopping down the trees to create a helicopter pad for the Wessex helicopter, courtesy of the Royal Navy, which is just arriving now. This is bring us some heavier supplies, which are rather difficult to bring in physically over the bridle track. In the wrong position, so he's taken an about turn. In the Royal Australian Engineers, no matter the rank, everybody pulls their weight in order to get the job done. The Wessex is away, so while they're waiting for it to return, everyone's having a welcome beer. The bald-headed guy is George Gronke, who was a fighting Pole and arrived in Australia after the Second World War. Some mail from home, and Tubby's cooking lunch. The Wessex returns. For the Muruts, it was a close encounter of the alien kind with the helicopter. Captain Fiddick, who later became General. We met once again in Vietnam. That area was expanded and we put down huts, and so other heavy material could arrive and we could launch operations from here. The lads are holding onto the hut just so the helicopter doesn't blow the roof away. Here it is building an English Bailey bridge across a small creek. Again, everybody gets into it. The weather, of course, is often overcast. Here we have a visitor to the squadron area, and he obviously likes it here because he doesn't want to leave. So everyone's giving him a little bit of encouragement for him to be on his way. On his way. Harry Hickson, some of the lads home after a hard day. And here's Coco. Everybody loved Coco, and Coco loved everybody else. He was the squadron's favourite mascot. He was a gibbon monkey, and he'd do anything except walk on the ground. Coco loved fruit of any kind. Bananas, mandarins, apples. I think he enjoyed our stay with the engineers, his time with the engineers. We had two other monkeys, Ringo and Ringless. Here with Glenn Brown. Very cheeky, very naughty. You're never too sure what they'll get up to. No monkeys in Australia apart from in the zoo, so it was a chance for us Australians to get to know some of the local wildlife, who actually became our friends and gave us hours and hours of entertainment. The house in the background belonged to the local chief, and occasionally some of the lads went over there to partake of a tapai party and come back somewhat worse for wear. Everybody was entitled to some R&R down on the coast, but I asked Major Stein if he didn't mind if I went upstream up the Nabuen with my friends and stayed with them rather than go down to the coast. And I'm certainly pleased I did, because I had 3 delightful days up there with Umbro, his family, and his friend here, who with his wife. Over there, of course, the rivers are the roadways. We've arrived, and Umbro and his mate are showing us some of their fighting style. I got in for a round or two, and Umbro's father-in-law was the umpire. Then it was blowpipe and spear against shotgun. Now it's time to dance. After the festivities, we adjourned to Umbro's house with the jungle view, and had a bite to eat and a cup of tea. This is Pandawan Airport, and it was put to good use in those times when it was wet weather. There is Captain Sanderson, not the one with the moustache, and he rose to also be a general and later become the Governor of West Australia. for heavy equipment, and also things like drums of petrol, all your heavy accoutrements for the military. They were dropped in by transport plane and on pallets with parachute. On this, when the weather was like this and it was raining, it was sometimes hard to work on the roads. So a lot of the engineers, they worked on the local school and rebuilt it, built up another a place alongside it for families, built a completely new playground, reconstructed a few things, also donated books both in English and Malay for the kids' library. This is the bridle track below, and this is the jungle of Sabah, which goes for hundreds of miles and must be still one of the last great rainforests of the world. May it always be so. There is our road, the all-weather road we constructed, which is snaking its way through and heading on its way towards Sepulveda on the Indonesian border. This is the squadron headquarters, which housed 200 men. This is Major Stein, who's giving his address, and to the Interior Minister and some friends up from the coast who are thanking us for our efforts in constructing the road. It was a great party, and everyone made their goodbyes, and it was soon after that we made our farewell